start reeling anyway, don't they?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
They go,
That's what they kept saying, just let it eat it.
because it goes down a ways or,
Yeah, just let it eat it,
Yeah.
they kept saying.
yeah.
That's why he was.
Well,
kinda-
even if you jerked at 150 feet,
Yeah.
you're not gonna move it a quarter of an inch.
Okay, I can't tell my fish, my own YouTube fish, channel. Staple City Council meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll have to send that.
Okay, we'll do that.
You'll be reading with envy.
All right, well, welcome, and we'll get started right away with the approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved?
Second,
Motion by Mary and a second by Doug. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 3 is to approve our consent calendar, which is minutes of the previous meeting, and payment of bills.
so moved.
Motion by Doug, second by John. Discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4 is to consider consensus recommendation to approve conditional use permit at 219 6th Street Southeast to construct and operate a car wash in a B1 zone and establish any conditions. What's
Yeah,
that?
you didn't last
You're in the
meeting.
wrong
I got the
agenda.
wrong agenda? I thought that looked familiar, actually.
Well, I was gonna, last time I had the wrong agenda.
I was just say,
Well, I keep forgetting that thing, and so.
We had already talked about that.
Well, so far, everything's on track. We're good to go. Yeah, Fish Stories got us off track, Tara. We're all good. Don't worry about it. All right, so then now item number 4 would be to consider not waiving the monetary limits on statutory tort liability for insurance coverage. Which I've never read that one before.
Well, we've done that every year, but I can never remember.
A year ago,
what it means.
Chris.
I know, that's why.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roy and second by Mary. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then item number 5 is to consider adopting resolution 1847, support for submittal of Batcher Block Opera House to the 2022 state bonding program. Was Melissa supposed to be here for that, or you?
Yeah, I'll cover for her. She must be still getting her way over from the PD, but Resolution 1847 is in your packet. This is basically the resolution that the state of Minnesota requires the city to approve, basically indicating support for the bonding application. Melissa did share at the EDA. It's basically a pre-designed design and appraisal as a phase 1 bonding application this year. And then once all of that design work and estimates and all that stuff are fully formalized, then we can go back 2 years from now and apply for the actual capital dollars. So we're submitting one bonding request, so therefore this is our number 1 priority. And just stressing the importance of this project for downtown redevelopment and important historic resource for the state. So I recommend your approval.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Mary for approval of 1847. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, second by Doug. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item number 6, and that's to consider our 2022 through 2026 capital improvement plan.
So, not looking for any action or anything on the CIP tonight, but wanted to get the, the current draft in front of the council so that you have an opportunity to look at it, provide input. We'll probably put it on the agenda again a couple of weeks from now. Every year we put together a 5-year capital improvement plan that kind of lays out what we anticipate for capital expenditures over the next 5 years. And I think some of you are familiar with the document, others, this may be the first time you've seen it. As you go down, we've got the description of what it is. We've got the department that it refers to, what the anticipated cost is, the fund, and then whether it's a new or replacement piece of equipment. A lot of the areas, we put a little bit of a remark over on the right-hand side, for example, contingent on receipt of a grant or, whatever the case might be. But so as you go through and take a look at this, and I do encourage you to do that ahead of the meeting next week. And then what we'll do as we move forward is actually hold a public hearing, schedule a public hearing and hold it. This is basically what we've got right now from meetings with department heads. And some stuff that's not on here yet, it's not going to be a 2022 project necessarily, but we're starting to have some conversations about things like 4th Street reconstruction. Todd County let us know here this spring that they're looking at doing an overlay of the, basically it would be 3rd Avenue north to Warner Road, similar to what they did some years ago. And so obviously that's an opportunity for us to get in the ground if we need to do water main, sewer main, address storm sewer piping, different things like that. So that may turn out to be a 2024, 2025, or 2026 type project, depending on how long Todd County can hold off and what some of the engineering assessment is on that. And then likewise other projects around the city that we may need to look at doing.
I know the last time they recorded that, they didn't let us know and we couldn't do any. We wanted to do some infrastructure and they just did it.
That was,
That was several years ago now, but.
I want to say that was 2002,
Oh, it was later, when they,
did the overlay.
oh yeah, I was on council.
Really? Because maybe it was 2002 that the preliminary engineering study was put together.
But it wasn't in a hurry. They did it really in a hurry. We couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, that was part of that northwest area improvement project that we were looking at. And the biggest driving force at the time with that was stormwater. You're getting, flooding over near Leidenfrost and on the west side of the school, Burger King, Lake, a lot of that type of stuff. And fortunately with the Highway 10 project and the turnback project, as well as the overpass and the realignment of that ditch and cleaning out of stuff, to a large extent that drainage issue has been alleviated over in that area, but that does not change the condition of the pipes of all kinds in that 4th Street area. So, but that so that's something that may come along as a project for 4 years from now or so. So.
We want to get our stuff done then with that.
Yeah, well.
We have to patch it up all the time.
And I will tell you that our relationship with Todd County Highway Department is a lot better now than it was back at that time, so.
Bad memory stick with you.
These are just estimates?
Yep. Most of them are estimates, yep.
Are there things that are gonna fall off of that, this list, if we go over budget on other things?
I described this a little bit like your kid's Christmas list for Santa, and the CIP collides with the budget. When we get to that point here this fall. So there are definitely things on here that, that probably don't move forward once the budget gets going. I would say most of them are, a lot of the items that are on here are items that either happen every year or items that have been basically in the queue, that need to be replaced. But there will be some that, that don't happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you would've told me a year ago that a 2x4 is gonna cost, $15 or whatever to run, I would've. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just hard to know what the next year will give us, so.
Yeah. So, anyway, like I said, I'm not looking for any action on this tonight, but wanted to, present it to the council, give you a couple weeks to, I guess it'd be 3 weeks before our next meeting now to look at it and come prepared at the next meeting to provide feedback on it.
Okay. Any more questions or comments for Gerald on that? Okay, we'll move on then to item number 7, and that's to consider First Amendment to the electric service territory.
In your packet, starting on page 13, there is essentially a 2-page amendment. I don't know what it was, a month ago, maybe we approached the council, and Public Works has seen this 2 or 3 different times, but having to do with basically 2 pieces of property. One, the McKechnie tooling building, which Todd Wadena currently serves on a service by exception basis. And then secondly, the Ideal Construction property out on, I don't know, what is that, 490th or 460th? 490th, yeah, west of Pine Grove Park. That, that's in our service territory, but basically what this amendment does, it allows Todd Wadena to serve the Ideal Construction with their 3-phase. And in exchange for that, it allows us to start serving the McKechnie tooling building 2.5 years earlier than our previous service territory agreement would have provided. So I think as Scott shared previously, the cost for us to get 3-phase down to that location in our service territory for 1 customer without the potential for any additional customers, the payback is decades to do that. So I would recommend approval of the First Amendment to the Electric Service Territory Agreement with Todd Wadena Electric.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, motion by Roy, second by John. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Well, that takes us into some commission reports. We have 2. Guess we'll start with Public Works. Scott?
This will be short. Couple action items. The Public Works Commission recommended that we keep the delegates the same to the Minnesota Municipal Utilities Association. It's just a formality. I am the delegate, and then you can see the alternates listed there.
Are they still on track for?
What's that?
Oh, never mind. I'm off track.
But I think we want council action on,
Do you
on to approve that.
So moved.
Commission recommended that it did.
Okay.
Keep it the same.
That-
I moved.
you moved
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, motion by Mary, second by Roy. That's the approval of the delegates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yep, motion carried.
Second item is, we did put out bids for overlays. Most of the overlays that are gonna be done are alleys, there's several of them that are in poor shape. And, Ideal Construction had the lowest bid, so commission recommends that the council will approve the bid submitted by Ideal Construction.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roy, second by Ron, to approve Ideal Construction for the paving. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then, the camera project that's been going on for several months, but it's finished now. All the cameras are installed, after tonight, with the payments being approved by the council, then, we'll turn the paperwork in and we should receive our grant soon, as long as, the state gets the budget worked out by the 30th. Also, the wastewater treatment plant, so far, they still tell us on time, they're on time, but we're hearing rumblings that it could be delayed, delays in acquiring some of the materials and then all that. It could be that they're farther behind I'm hearing rumors, but nothing for certain. So that's all I got for you.
Yep. Any questions for Scott? All right, thank you, sir. And then we'll have Park and Rec. Trish?
We can have forums, so I'm just giving you a brief update. I was gonna have pictures, but we have a little rules, so that's took a little longer. We're getting up for the big blast into all of our programming. We have some leagues, metro leagues, different activity days, craft days, a whole slew of things. I've been working on updating the website, which has been a chore. Schedule-wise in the parks, we have 5 different tournaments at the fields this year. We made Brood, Lefties, and then the long passes last weekend. The slam ball tournament's back, Ziggler 5K and their bean big, and then just the regular rentals, so we're busy. And the campground has been great. If you go out to Dower, you will notice that we have some work getting completed, which is nice. The pavilion got painted and got, all the rotten boards at the bottom taken out. All of it was painted on the inside and then bird netting was put up. All the little well houses all got painted the same colors. They're a nice bright blue. So when you go out there, you can definitely see them. The shower house, will operate this weekend, but it's not quite finished yet. That's been a struggle. Well, I have kind of the paving for out at Dower. So one thing I wanted to talk about was when we pave out at Dower, there's 2 entrances right now. And we talked about closing the gap in the middle, removing the pavement, so we have a public access. So we have decent parking for boats and stuff like that, and then we have a park entrance. That should be going here shortly. And then the community foundation signs, we have a direction thing, which is awesome. So if you don't see that, I'll leave that out there. The girl gazebos are constructed, just waiting for the cement to get put in, you know, the warming house. And there is our picture of our groups. All sorts of things, too much actually. Any questions?
You guys doing music in the park this year?
Yes, it starts the 11th, I believe it is. That's Sunday.
You opened up the band shell?
I did, and it looked okay, there's some corns in there, but that's.
I was thinking after, I don't think it was open last year, was it? last summer.
Yeah, I opened it a couple of times. Just
Well, we used it in the fall for the chamber, the comedian.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good, so.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Open forum? Okay, no one wants to speak. We'll move on to city administrator's report.
Okay, a few items. We continue to do some training and are now starting to fully implement our iWork software. And, you know, it's very intuitive to use, and it's really nice to have all that stuff right in front of us. So we'll maybe give you a demo after we're fully up and running, so. Spending quite a bit of time in conference calls with a bunch of attorneys working on our charter franchise agreement renewal. Very interesting. All kinds of FCC changes that have happened in the last 15 years, and also some appeals court decisions that it's like speaking a different language, but I think hopefully within the next 2-3 months, somewhere in there, we'll have a finalized new franchise agreement with charter to present to the council. Police interviews, we interviewed all day last Thursday and then did a round of second interviews on Monday. We've got a couple of good candidates there, so we'll see where that goes. Hopefully we'll have Missy here at our next meeting, give us an update on where we're at with that. Citywide cleanup occurred back on the 11th, on Friday night. I don't even remember what time we finally did get out of there. It must have been 8:30 or 8:15, something like that. Some things that I think we would do different than when we did it, last 2 years ago. One, the type of truck that Long Parade Sanitation brings. They brought the big trucks that are meant to dump dumpsters, and that was rather difficult to load couches and mattresses and things like that into, because what would happen was they'd raise it up over the cab and it would fall off onto the hood or onto the roof of the truck instead of going in. So they ended up setting them on top of the dumpster to weigh them and then set them off to the side. But it ended up, there was a pretty substantial bottleneck at the garbage truck area. So we're gonna talk with Terry down there about what we can do different next year to kind of speed that up. We ended up having a lot of our guys there for a lot longer than we had planned to, just from the standpoint of, needing people to help unload and move stuff around. And want to give a shout out to Bruce and Steve and Opie, Steve Goggert, Mercedes and Scott were there taking everybody's money. Went pretty well. Took a full trailer of household hazardous waste down to Browerville last week, and grand total 12,860 pounds of what I call garbage, 39 mattresses, 21 other pieces of furniture, whether they be recliners or couches or dressers. Bunch of refrigerators, washers, dryers, 8 microwaves, 18 TVs, 11 printers, and a bunch of bulbs and tires. So it was, everybody left pretty full at the end of the night. The really impressive thing is how much stuff can go into one of those garbage trucks. It's just amazing. It just keeps cramming it in. But so it was, I think, a successful event. Like I say, we're gonna try and work out a couple of the bugs, maybe get 2 lines going for garbage next year, which we couldn't this year because of different equipment from the wastewater plant being in the way. And I think it was successful. Those that came, for the most part, with the exception of people that always think that their stuff didn't weigh as much as we say it did, people were pretty happy about having it locally again this year. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on any of that stuff, but I would like to make a presentation to Diane Archer. This will be her last official city council meeting.
She's always welcome to join us on those nights. Yeah.
She'll be a regular.
Now she can run for
All
council.
our meetings, but
She can run
anyway,
for
it's one of
council.
our traditions to present a plaque. This reads, presented to Diane Archer in appreciation for your commitment, contributions, and service to the city of Staples, October 30, 2017 to June 30, 2021. So, and on a personal note, thank you very much, Diane. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will say that it's been a pleasure working here, and you're all a great group of people, and the best council I think that I've ever worked with, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Daryl?
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Roy, second by Ron to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, free of charge.